What's good, y'all? It's Breha, and I'm way overdue for a life update. When I'm getting ready, the first thing I think about is moisture in my skin, because I really believe that skin can sometimes be our greatest superpower, but choosing can be a little bit hard. Thank you to Clinique for sponsoring this video, and they helped me customize a perfect moisturizer for my skin. With Clinique ID, Clinique asked me 2 questions to create a custom moisturizer for me. Question number 1, what's my skin type? And number 2, what's one thing I would change about my skin? First, you pick your base. They have moisturizing lotion, oil control gel, and my personal choice, the hydrating jelly. This is a lightweight, oil-free, water-based jelly that provides 24 hours of hydration, repair, and pollution protection for all skin types. And this is how the jelly arrived after I took it out of its immediate packaging. Next up, I have to choose my active cartridge concentrate. Ooh, this is a tongue twister again. There's one for irritation. There's one for uneven skin tone and pores and uneven texture. There's one for lines and wrinkles. And then my personal choice for this video was the fatigue one, because your girl has been traveling. So the fatigue cartridge is good because it energizes and revives glow with taurine. After one application, it's an instant wake-up call for skin. After 1 week, energized looking skin. And after 1 bottle, visible reduction in signs of fatigue. Instructions. So how do you put such a beautiful combination together? Well, Clinique made it extremely easy to customize. First, I take the cap off of my base. I can feel the moisture coming already, y'all. You see that? You see that? We already starting. The process is beginning, okay? And this is what the base looks like inside. Ooh, jelly. Alright, and then I'm going to take the cartridge, and it just has the instructions on the outside like this, and you remove it, and then you just simply stick it into the base and screw on the top. Once that top is secure, you are ready to go. You're ready to conquer the world, okay? And that's one of my favorite things. This was so easy to put together. And then once you just take off the top, you get that pump activated and you're ready to get moisturized. Thank you to Clinique again for sponsoring this video. Make sure to visit Clinique.com or Clinique Counter to build the right custom hydrator for your skin. Hey YouTube, I hope you guys enjoyed that intro that I just did. Yeah, so I'm about to get started with a basically huge massive life update. I wanted to do it in a kind of fun way. So I actually have this basket that I got in Ethiopia, but I wrote down everyone's ideas of things you guys wanted me to talk about in here. So I'm just gonna occasionally, as I do my makeup, pick some out. This is gonna help me remember everything too. So let's get started. I wanna do a spring makeup look today. So I'm gonna start by moisturizing my face, and I'm just gonna rub. It's allergy season, so we have one unwanted visitor, you know, on the channel today, but it's okay because they're on their way out. Security has been called, like they're gonna be gone, but pollen, man, it got me for the one time. Oh yeah, and then these clips, I forgot to mention, my natural hair shrinks so much. I use these clips to help while it's drying, add a little weight to my hair so it doesn't shrink as much. Okay, so let's get started and prime my eyes. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited. Thoughts on taking risks and dealing with negative people. All right, we can talk about that today. With risk taking, about 99% of the time, every time I've taken a risk, I've either learned something. I've always learned something from taking a risk, or I realized almost 99.9% of the time that whatever I was scared of when I took that risk wasn't that scary at all. I was basically psyching myself out. So that's one thing I would say with taking risks that is a huge thing that I've learned recently. So for dealing with negative people, I really had to sit and think about this one, because one thing I've noticed that brings me a lot of peace is negativity either comes from ignorance or lack of self-esteem. I think one of my pet peeves is when people troll to get a negative reaction out of the Black community. It's crazy times we're in. And then also going to Africa has truly like changed my life. So I think that's another reason why my perspective on negativity has changed so much. For this yellow color, it actually matches my shirt almost flawless. So this one says mental health update and emotional update. Okay, that's a really good one, y'all. I feel like I've been going through a period of mild burnout, but like on YouTube, just because I feel like so much stuff has been done. You know what I mean? Things that used to be special on YouTube, there's a tutorial for everything now. There's help and there's answers for so many things that I feel like When they called us the burnout generation, I really do be feeling that sometimes, because it's like, bruh, if I do any of my old things that used to be creative, then it's like, bruh, like a bunch of people have learned how to do some of that stuff now. So in a way, it makes you unmotivated, but at the same time, it motivates me to like keep learning new things. But it just feels like the internet's always on your heels, man. Like, and everything's so high speed. It gets difficult mental health wise. I've been trying to re-find a love for everything I'm doing. So I think that's why I took a little break from YouTube. It wasn't a conscious break, but it's like every time I went to film, I just got like anxiety about filming, because I'm like, it's not gonna be good enough. I don't wanna lose myself in the internet. So I think that's a big thing for like mental health and all that. And then just emotional update. I think with my ADHD, a lot of people don't realize that that has a huge emotional component with regulation of emotion and all these other things. So it's just been balancing that with a very demanding, you know, career and stuff like that, and deadlines and things like that that might be not easy for another person. But if you lived with this, then you know how much more it takes to start and how much longer it takes to finish when you have ADHD. It's just literally, it's a whole job, okay? It's a whole job. Ooh, that yellow. Ooh, she's outstanding. Emotionally, I've been doing pretty good, but I just have my off days a little bit, and I'm trying to like figure out how to get back on the horse when there's so much demanded of me all the time, you know? I'm figuring out how to take breaks, but not letting them become toxic breaks where I am literally just sitting there paralyzed with inactivity and anxiety and procrastination, because that's not healthy. But also just listening to my body more. So for example, my body is kind of thirsty right now, so. But anyway, yeah, so I think it's just one day at a time. And I've been also just going through so many transitional periods in my life. You know, I lost a few friends this year and these past couple years. It's in the double digits now. So trying to like rationalize that while also having to be on camera can be tricky. Managing work, projects, and burnout and things to do. So I actually pretty much just answered that one in my last one, so I'm gonna pick another one. Also, I have so many new organizational hacks now in my life, so if y'all wanna see what I do for extreme organization now. Art update, are you still making physical art? I know somebody asked this one. I'm just gonna go in with the same brush because laziness, you know? The answer is yes and no. I've been exploring different mediums now, so that's why I say yes and no, because I've been kind of getting more into digital art. I was into it before. In high school, I was a computer graphics TA. Alright, so the next question is a health update. Y'all really care about me, okay? I have the best subscribers, man. Not even joking, y'all. Y'all are really some amazing people. And this from the messages y'all sent. Alright, let me stop getting sappy. No, we G's in here. Uh-oh. Drop those. But yeah, you know, my health has been kind of up and down. Not like in an extreme way, you know what I mean? There's certain things that, like, just since I was a baby, I've dealt with. And that's weird because I have like almost perfect health, y'all. It's the weirdest thing. But when I get sick, like I'm out for the count, girl. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Nothing is happening. No plans are being made. Ain't no push through. Moderate things, you know what I mean? Like, we got stuffy nose. We a little congested. I push through anything. But yeah, I've been dealing with stuff that's just inherently genetic. I have to stay hydrated because when I don't, it gets critical, girl. Like, hydration, y'all think I just hydrate for skin? Like, I'm telling you, it gets real out here if I don't stay hydrated. All right, y'all don't kill me for using the applicator, man. This is my personal. All right, so I'm adding this liquid glow to the skin because this is one of my favorite things to do. I think skin moisture is really key. I just have intolerances to certain foods and I haven't figured out what all of those are yet. You know what I mean? But when I say intolerance, I mean like inflammatory stuff, you know what I mean? So I already know that dairy is one. I'm still trying to figure out what the other stuff is, you know what I mean? Look at her, okay? Okay, we haven't even put the foundation on yet. Let me apply this in a little layer. But yeah, so I'm just in a process right now health-wise of just figuring out what works and what doesn't. But overall, I don't want to scare y'all. Literally, I get sick. It feels like every few years. Y'all, blending your foundation is a major key. But you see how that underneath glow makes the biggest difference? It's one of my favorite things to do. Relationship update. That's ironic. My boyfriend just got back, but everything's great, you know what I mean? Y'all know who follow me for a long time, I'm just such a private person. I'm really happy. I just feel like there's a lot of spiritual growth that's been happening mutually, so it's just nice. And I love that there are no topics off limit, and we're friends too, so I think that makes a big difference. I always say, like, you should definitely be friends with your partner. It makes a huge difference because you're a team, so like to have that friendship backing everything, I feel like is really huge. One of the biggest things that makes me know that this is something special and a little bit different, you know what I mean? But we grow through situations together, and we actually get kind of stronger throughout everything, which I think that's just such a beautiful quality, man. And then we're both committed to just self-growth as people and learning. So if he sees that something is just not working for him, or like, you know what I mean, it's just not a look, he corrects it on his own. So I think that's a really big thing as well. But everything's all fine, you know? I'm just living my life, you feel me? I'm just living my life. Updates on your Ethiopia trip. Okay, so Ethiopia changed my life. Describing this trip to people is like, how do you describe something that truly did change your life? And I just came back different. There's no better way to put it than I just came back very different. That's about this trip, but I'm so in awe of how the trip went that I just wanted to make sure I did the trip justice. But it's gonna be impossible to do a trip like that justice without y'all actually physically being there. So I'm kind of trying to push myself to just get that done, because it went from being just an update video on the trip to being low-key a documentary. But not a documentary from the perspective of some weird know-it-all like tourist thing. It was a documentary more so from my real perspective as a Black woman in America, and how I feel a lot of stuff has been hidden from us as Black women and stuff, or just the inferiority complex that has been so vividly given to me throughout my whole life. Going there and seeing the strength of the genetics was shocking. But all I can say is it changed my life. I have a video. I'm taking my time with it so that it's not, you know what I mean, doing a disservice to this trip and the people that I met. But yeah, it takes a while to process a trip like that, you know what I mean? And not because of poverty or anything like that, because I think one of the biggest things I feel for a lot of mission trips, other races who go on mission trips might be really shocked and like, oh my god, the poverty. And I'm like, oh my god, go to Baltimore, like go to Southeast DC, Anacostia, go, you know what I mean, to Compton, go to all these places, go even downtown LA in certain places, like, you know what I mean, South Central. Go to these places that you've forgotten about in America, and I promise you, you won't be surprised by anything you see in Africa. Anything, you know what I mean? There are some things that are graphic that I saw, but nothing that I really haven't seen here already. I lived in Baltimore for 4 years for college, and I'm just like, I feel like there's a lot of people that are just sheltered, you know what I mean? That haven't been exposed to true poverty in their life, and it's right around the corner. There's, again, no way to describe this without y'all just seeing that video. It's almost like, how could the history books leave stuff like this out? I think that's what made me upset when I came home, is like, y'all basically started every book, even in world history, y'all started every book about slavery. You didn't show us this? Like, how are you gonna leave out the seasoning? You know what I mean? The interesting part of the story. Like, bruh, there's so much beauty in Africa. But yeah, I could rant about this and rave about this forever, but life-changing trip, beautiful people, and I feel like if you're a Black person and you were born in America, you gotta see it. You just gotta see it. Just because I know how the school curriculums did us dirt, and you guys need to see what your people look like. Here is how are you dealing with the transition into music and this new musical chapter. Okay, my transition into music. I think this goes hand in hand with taking risks. It's been such a big learning process in a good way. Honestly, in the humblest way possible, I expected nothing less than to get hate. Literally, I think that's the most blunt way to put it. But that's just because it's unlike the other art forms. This is the art form that I found people are the most hypercritical of. Like, you don't see this as much with dance. Of course, when you get into you're not gonna see dancers and clarinet and flute players getting either destroyed in the media or anything like that, like you will see. I was an art nerd the whole time of my life. Like, I played instruments, but I just didn't ever want to share that with people because I'm just like, bro, sorry y'all, my camera died, but I'm about to just do my highlight and finish up everything in that department. Just kind of picking back up was why I chose Mindful as my first song. And in all honesty, y'all, from the moment I heard Mindful played back, I knew even in this studio that was gonna be my first song. And it's not because it's my best song, it's not because it's the catchiest song, it's not for any of those reasons. It's because I think that's the most vulnerable thing I've ever said in my life. I've been through a lot, okay? You know what I mean? I was the last person to call on people for help. It was about people I dated, it was about my, upbringing, it was about my absent parent. It was about friends that, you know what I mean, think I'm always okay simply because I have a following. Because I think during one of my lowest times, like I'm talking about my lowest time in my life, nobody called my phone for 4 or 5 days, y'all. Not to be too heavy, but that really is something that got to me because I'm like, dang. And of course, that was a couple of years ago. My family and I speak like every day. I spent 5 days waiting for somebody to say, what you doing? What you up to? How's life? Are you okay? And not a single text in 5 days. That helped a lot. And then I was able to pull myself out of that, sad place. And I think that's the premise of Mindful. And I don't want to make it seem like no one hit my phone because people did hit my phone. But what I will say is during that time when they were hitting my phone, it was all to ask for something from me. And I may not be the best artist yet because I'm just starting out, but I know just based on those experiences and what I have to say in my story and just my work ethic, like I'm committed to growth, I'm committed to learning, I'm committed to getting better every day. Like I just know in a few years where I'm gonna be if I keep up this momentum and this energy. So it's like I'm not even worried about that kind of stuff right now. I just know I have something to say and a big story to tell, which is why I need you to be mindful. It's like, nah. But yeah, y'all. Now I've been just finding great ways to get myself, since then, that was again years ago, but I've been finding great ways to try to get myself out of those moments because I still have them from time to time, you know what I mean? It's all about just learning as you go, for real. And the end of this video got heavy, but I feel like there's somebody out there watching that needed to hear me say this, or might be going through a moment or just had something happen. And like, I'm telling you, don't wait on anyone. If somebody hurts your feelings, especially not them, wait on yourself, literally, and work with yourself. And one thing that I've been doing with one of my family members is I started a tally recently. So on a little notes app note, I put a tally of all the kind things I do for myself. I don't say what it is, but every time you do something that's kind for your mental health, just put a tally mark somewhere. And even if, for me, if that's like, but it's only for things that make you feel like you're on top of the world, so that are healthy, like watching a motivational video. And especially if it's something that takes a little more effort to do, like going to the gym or just something that's good for your mental health. And you'll see a direct correlation between doing things that make you happy and help your mental health and your mental health. So it's like, it's kind of one-on-one. Anyway, love you guys so much. Thank you again to Clinique for sponsoring this video. I hope you enjoyed this life update. Of course, there's much more to talk about, but this is one of the first ones in a while, so we're gonna get around everything. If you want to see more about this ponytail, again, check out my video. And if you want to see more prep for my Ethiopia trip. Anyway, needless to say, I love you guys. Peace out, gang, and I'll see you in my next video.